Perfect.
Introduction to Eugenia. Hello everyone, we're live here in Tokyo. My name is Mara and I founded an animation studio, and today we will talk not exactly about industry deep stuff, but like the fun FAN and FUN things related to anime. We'll talk about Shonen tropes with our friend and co-worker.
I'm Eugenia, also known as Eveintitres here on the chat. I am what you would call the official studio's fancifier. I did some in-betweens and colorings in the past also, and now I am supporting as marketing assistant, moderating the chats, and also editing content for our socials. I do different things.
Yeah, so basically Eugenia is a person who just gathers whatever the team is doing and puts it together, like the backgrounds, the drawings, and then puts it together so they move and the background moves, and then adds lights and stars and shiny things and makes everything look fancy. Thus, Eugenia is the fancifier of the things. Yeah. But today we'll talk about things that are a bit more subjective. We'll talk about our opinions, our point of views on shonen anime or shonen manga. Now, what is shonen anime and manga, and how will we review it? In my understanding, shonen anime is a literal explanation. Mangas, animes, and stories, animated stories for boys. Now, other than boys watch this genre, kids, adults, whatever their gender, but actually it's a very broad genre that almost anything can be put in there. Like, Eugenia, what do you think about that?
Is shonen, like, is this limited to only fight scenes, or what does it mean that is for boys? Like, it can also be sports anime, it can also be like super gory, or maybe horror, or maybe lighthearted day-to-day life anime also. It's like shonen genre is just like the default at some point. It's
like everything the mainstream adventure. Not even adventure, it's just like example number one, and we'll start. Inuyasha technically is a shonen. Apparently, like when I was I'm reading a question from the chat. The thing is asked, Inuyasha is a shonen. So when I was in Spain, and I have like my collection of the mangas of Inuyasha, so the editorial I was using, I think it's from Glenat. They have like shonens and shoujos. They have like a little title on the top, and they separate them in green and pink.
Okay.
And Inuyasha was green, meaning shonen.
Yeah.
Shonen often have like fights and quote unquote manly topics, which is something.
Yeah.
But inside them, they have a lot of drama. They can also have romance, like adventure. They have enough things inside. Like, so Inuyasha is one of these ones that is like, is the romance the main story, or is it that they're fighting that makes it a shonen? Or, like One Piece has a lot of melodrama as well.
Because it's aimed at boys who can also feel and cry. Like, not only, like, it has to bring emotion to the fight. Like, it's not just the hard life of a man, but also like the trauma and the backstory and the
backstories. Like, someone is beaten or almost beaten to death.
Yeah.
Like, and that's in many anime, not just One Piece. So you have these two characters, they're having a fight. One is very down now, and now it's the time to explain the backstory of one of them. And thanks to this backstory, someone will recover their motivation and energy, level up, and fight back.
Yeah.
Badass, until the other person is now almost beaten.
On the floor.
Yeah, on the floor with all the cuts and everything. So tell me, Eugenia, what do you think about that? How real is that? And should it be real? There's many things to say about this.
At first, like, I know it sounds super ridiculous. In the case of Captain Tsubasa, it's like no one takes this long to go from one side of the court to the other. It's like it's insane.
They're running so fast yet.
Yet. So would you go into a monologue about your life and every struggle that you had to reach this moment? Not really, but at the same time, I like how Shonen places all of the weight of the emotion into every punch. It is meaningful. It's not about the fight or to strike a goal or to do whatever in the sports anime or whatever, really.
Your point or like to win,
it's about...
you're part of the battle. No, it's not real, I guess.
No.
Usually when you're like in the middle of a basketball play or fighting to death. I mean, not that I fight to death every day. I have never done that, most likely. And I want to not have to do that. However, as they're saying also in the chat, like the physical fight is a way to show the inner struggle. Like the fight is the excuse to explain a story. Should we try to understand everyone's point of view in a fight? Maybe yes.
To
maybe
me,
it's a good
it is insightful.
Because Eunice just mentioned Ed. Maybe they're talking about Psycho, but I just remember I didn't list my favorite shonen or one of my favorites, Fullmetal Alchemist.
Go.
And Edward, main character of Fullmetal Alchemist, he does grow slowly, like getting taller and taller as the show goes on. It's so interesting, like how like it's actually a topic with the main character, like the lady. She's like, I will never marry someone who's shorter than me, which is a bit like, well, something that the king would say, I guess. And then in the end, like he's actually taller than her, and it's like, that couldn't have been like, it would have been prettier that she was still tall,
but then, we have lovely complex for that.
Oh my god, lovely complex. How did we not talk about that in the other? Oh my god.
Sometimes they have these transformations that are like very extreme and they don't match the physical body. In this case, it's just the opposite.
Yes. It
makes sense.
In Fullmetal Alchemist, the character actually grows a bit taller and a bit more, like square. But when he was 13, he was already ripped. It was like a tiny ripped, and then he like gets like into adult size. We're like, okay,
made a
like the scale
tool and made it like this.
The scale and broaden a bit the shoulders, and there we go. Females, should we start about females? What do we see in shonen animes in females aesthetically and emotionally? Let's talk about it. Could be a full stream, but let's talk a bit about that. And then, is it realistic? Should it be real? There you go. There's many tropes of ladies, as we were defined, like maybe like the plain one, the fighter one, the very attractive, aesthetically pleasing one, the femme fatale, the pure one. So we have like all these different characters. And would you say they evolved though? Like we've talked about many animes and some are older than others, like more recent. Do you think the female characters are evolving? Like these tropes?
Yeah. There has been a shift. They are developing better backstories, motives, dialogues. Like they are placing or maybe making explicit that these female characters have interest outside the protagonist ones.
And then so there's the thing that we were talking, equality, having like also males and females fighting, and then there's the other thing, is violence even like, does it even make sense? Because we were talking about like violence, female to male is an okay punishment. Another one, it happens, for example, in Fullmetal Alchemist, which is much newer than Rama, for example. And that female character is using a iron tools on the male character's head.
Oof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like punches in the head of the other one, if I remember correctly. So there might be instances that I don't remember that he slashed her or something like that in any case. So this is something that repeats a bit over time. Pretty sure like it happens in Dragon Ball, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
and
then,
it's kind of like a comic relief. Like,
one. Yeah. That sometimes I have a tendency to be violent towards males. Like when I was a teen, I would have this tendency actually.
Yeah.
Like it was okay. And that was my way to be cool with men. I regret that behavior and way of thought so much. And just as an adult, I realized it came from anime. Because from other books, from other series, like in person things I saw, I don't remember seeing that. It was from anime that I saw. Not only male shouldn't fight woman back or fight woman, but woman can fight men, and it's okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really upset me. That's why I wanted to bring this subject up, because I was saying like, yeah, it's true. Like some of the examples I'm bringing on are a bit old, but doesn't it happen yet? Like Spy X Family. I'm not like a ninja and I hurt someone to death. Like, let's calm down.
No.
But I had this not, how do you say, like instinct to react like that, and I hate so much that I had that, and that it's in me that I needed to stop. I need to stop. Like, no, if you're mad at this male or like stronger physically person, use words, think, cool down. Like there's many more tools. Try to understand each other, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Now there is the tendency to, especially when you are like socialized women and you grow up watching content that was made for men as an audience, you start learning how to be, like, subconsciously also how to be perceived as an equal in a way. And that is maybe also learning the language of action instead of talking, or the like
yeah,
let's say I understood that it was okay to, if I slapped a friend on the back with a joke like, no, don't say that, my hit wouldn't have the same strength as the boy would, so it was okay. And they wouldn't be mad at me because I'm a girl hitting a boy and no one is mad. But if they would do the same thing for me, they would of course go to the detention room. Like,
yes, pretty much.
And pretty much,
even if with the same strength.
Even if with the same strength or less. And I wouldn't like that treatment. But they would be made to maybe not show that, ouch, that hurt, why are you hurting me? Suddenly defending yourself from like abusive behavior is maybe not something that has been learned for boys.
I was about to mention, like, and also related to that, it's interesting as a society because I would say it's much more common for females to consume, at least in my generation, I've seen it's much more common for females to consume both shoujo anime and shonen anime, so anime for boys and for females. But for males, it's more rare to consume both, unless, I don't know, it was on TV, things like that, and they saw some of the mainstream, something like that. So it's more common. So it's interesting because I notice I grow up seeing both sides. The side of how to look, how should I be a female, learning from the female side, like the shoujo anime, and how should I be a female, as in the shoujo anime stuff. Like I see like the trope, I saw the tropes in both sides. So I need to be pretty, cute, hard worker, and so on. I learned from the anime of, for females, and from the anime of males, I learned to be strong and sexy, and I can kick them, and I learned different interesting thing that sometimes have parallels. I would say that in shoujo animes, I could also see females, like in this case, like being violent towards the male. So some overlap, like some of these tropes. But I don't know if many males, maybe I'm wrong because obviously my experience is anecdotal, but I don't know if many males have seen what females expect from them based on anime. Like, if a male reads romance books and all these things, like maybe they will know, like, oh, so that's what they find attractive. Being it more real or not, right? Because maybe it's like, oh, they want us to listen more. Trying to reply also to Cassie, like, do you mean males or men? They're not always the same. Actually, I'm a bit confused. I'm trying to be, like the words I'm saying right now, I'm trying to say it in the very binary. Shonen anime and shoujo anime I'm referring to are very, like the mainstream ones are very binary, lots of them. Sadly, I know that reality is more complex and it's not reflected there, so it's very difficult to talk about it in a more diverse and realistic approach while talking about something that's so binary. So I don't even know if I'm making my sentence correct here.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's complex because it's that we're trying. I think both of us are trying to be respectful with like transgender and binary, non-binary, and everything related to diversity of how we want to present ourselves, whether we were born in a way or the other, or raised in a way or the other, or way or the other, or all the others. Okay, so see, it's difficult to say while talking about a subject that it's very separated, classified inside the narrative. Yeah, however, there are exceptions, of course. There are many exceptions.
No, of course.
Even inside the mangas we mentioned. So I apologize if I made a mistake in language first, because I'm pretty sure that happened. That I tried to say something and I couldn't, and also I hope I didn't offend or made someone feel excluded or misrepresented. That's not my intention, and if so, I'm happy to learn through the comments of the video later or in the chat. So I'm happy to learn.
Yeah.
And please let me know. And again, I apologize because that's not my intention. Just as a note, Eveintitres, because you're the one editing these videos, please keep this part in the discussion.
Okay.
Because I think it's a very important clarification that, and it will be important for everyone to see that. One thing is that we've been discussing in a very like black and white, like this and that way, how they discuss both like the shonen anime and the shoujo anime. Again, with these being huge categories in a naming that actually doesn't apply, because like anime for males, what are males? But everyone's reading them, so there's already that. Just the name of what we're saying. But also we have been discussing it in a very this side and this side way, because especially we're talking about tropes, and tropes means that it happens in more than one, like it's generalizations of a type of character being narratively, aesthetically, and all these matters that we've been discussing. So it was easier for us to speak in that way of like boys, girls, males and females, and men and women. So it was just easier. But then we don't have any intention to discriminate or something like that for either our viewers or to the authors or to the characters themselves, because we know some of these characters of this anime are very complex. I think, for example, Attack on Titan has very complex characters. Last week we were discussing Sakura, like Caricature Sakura. They have very complex characters. Some are not even human.
Yeah.
And they're not human and they look like this, but they want to represent themselves like that. Like there's a lot of variety in all these characters. So trying not to discriminate them, and I guess I made my point sort of clear. So thank you everyone for watching. It was really fun to have you in the chat. You made like so insightful, like very insightful comments on things we didn't know either. Okay, I'm very bad at closing streams, so I'll just say again, thank you very much for watching, and
Thank you.
bye bye.